Hello and welcome to Benny Holt. So it's been a long time since we've seen you last, but we thought we'd continue our little series of showing you around our locomotive fleet. And next in the queue is our good old reliable City of Derby. Now, City of Derby wasn't actually originally built to look like this. In 2003, the Markeaton Park Light Railway, sadly now closed in Derbyshire, rebuilt her into her present guise. A common misconception is that this is modelled on a Class 37, many of which still operate on the main line today. However, the truth is it's actually modelled on a baby Deltic, otherwise known as a Class 23, of which to my knowledge there's only one which is being rebuilt currently up country. City of Derby is quite the beast and has been with us since 2016. Sadly, when the Markeaton Park Railway closed, we acquired the loco and the set of Exmoor carriages that went with it. So she's been here, and ever since we have given her a little bit of love and a little bit of a rebuild. So different from her early days, but a lot has gone into her to make her a reliable workhorse. Quite a few of our drivers also reckon that this diesel, out of our three diesels, is arguably one of the difficult ones to drive because you've always got to have your wits about you. Quite a character-filled engine. Anyway, enough of the chat, let's go and have a look in the engine room. Now, one of the main features which I personally think is an absolutely genius part of this locomotive is that you can remove the side panels completely. There's also the inspection hatches built into the side panels so that you can do daily inspections such as checking the oil, etc. But to do the real heavy general maintenance, the entire side can come off, which of course is great for you because you get a very good view. So, over the years, City of Derby has had numerous engines. However, since she's been with us, she's only had the one, which is the one she came with, which is a 2.8 litre Isuzu diesel. This is coupled by prop shaft to a hydraulic pump, which drives the transmission, and that's linked to the traction motors on both bogies. The engine is actually all-wheel drive, so when we acquired City of Derby, she only drove on one axle on each bogie, but subsequent rebuild has allowed us to build new bogies, which enables her to be driven on all wheels. That has helped with how strong the engine is to no end. Up this end, the hydraulic tank, the cooler for the hydraulic system, the radiator and the air system are all essential pieces of equipment. To look at an engine, you might think, gosh, there's an awful big space between the two cabs. But as you can see, without the sides, there's quite a lot going on within the engine compartment itself. So your battery isolator switch at this end, this turns all the electronics off to the locomotive, so obviously preserves the battery life, and when you need it, you turn it on. It engages all of the electrics to allow you to start and run the engine. We've got our Morse control cables for the throttles, because obviously a unique part of this engine for us is that there's a cab at either end, which allows us to run around the train without turning on the turntable. So that's the engine room. Quite complex, quite complicated, but all exceptionally useful equipment. Now we'll go and take a look in the cab. Welcome to the cab. This is number one end of the two on City of Derby. So we'll work from the left to the right, and I'll show you the controls throughout. So far left, first of all, we have the engine controls to preheat the glow plugs, start the engine and stop. We've also then got our air gauges, which tell us how much air is in the main res tank, the train tank, how much is being applied to the brakes on the loco. We have our hydraulic isolator switch. Now this is looks very much more high security than it actually is. This is to prevent you from accidentally knocking it on the move and disengaging the hydraulic drive, so that one stays covered when we're running. The bracket, which I know on these videos in the past when we've explained everything, there's always one person who wants to know what the sort of obscure object in the corner is. So this bracket is nothing more than just a holder for our walkie-talkie radio, so we can just plonk the radio on there. Next, we've got the exciting bit. This is our drive control. So much like a boat where you've got engine controls to drive the engines, this one has got the drive control here and the engine revs here. So this controller, you pull forward towards you to go forward, or push back away from you to reverse. And obviously the engine revs regulate the engine and ultimately the speed in which you travel. You've then got the horn, which we have 2 tones on City of Derby, and a little known fact is the horns on this are actually off of a full-size diesel engine. So quite a unique sound, I must say, and also quite loud. We've got the first of our 2 air brakes. This is for the locomotive. This is a parking brake on the locomotive. And then over here, we've got the TC2 air valve, which is for the train brakes. So if you're stopping a train, you use this one here. We've got the rev counter. We have the amp gauge to see if the battery on the engine is charging, engine temperature, oil pressure, engine hours, and then the switches over here. We have our lighting for the headlamps, tail lamps, as well as the fuel pump master switch. So once we've turned the battery isolator, we don't obviously have the fuel pumps running all the time. So one of those switches there, which is that one, is the switch which turns on the fuel pumps. So the other feature is actually underneath the cab. This loco is fitted with a sander, so on the rare occasion where City of Derby doesn't have good adhesion to the rails when pulling a train, we can operate the sander on the floor, which just drops a tiny bit of sand onto the railhead to improve traction. Nice and simple. Anyway, we hope you have enjoyed this look around our little diesel locomotive, City of Derby, and we'll be sure to make some more again for you. In the meantime, it is pre-main season, so City of Derby is off to the workshop for her pre-season service and a thorough deep clean, ready to be reliable for our peak summer traffic. So until next time, we'll see you then.